Hi everybody. Okay, so this video here is going to go over how you can go ahead and adjust your receipt settings, be it from the default receipt settings inside Cool Running or private labeling inside your system. So inside your system, you can go to Admin and you go to Settings, and under Settings you'll have Receipts right here. So you can go ahead and click on Receipts, and inside here you can go ahead and do your editing of anything for your header or for your footer. Now this information down here is what will actually print at the top of the either an invoice or receipt. So for instance, in Australia it might be tax invoice instead of just plain old invoice. But this is what will print at the top of the receipts. But again, this is your header and footer information, and then you have a place to go ahead and upload a logo into the system that will print at the top of your receipts. So this is where you can go ahead and make your adjustments for. This is a default setting receipt. Now, but what about private labeling? Let's say you're doing a job for another company and they insist that the receipt has to say their company name and information. You would go into Admin and you go to Objects and you go down to Private Labels. And this would work exactly the same way. You can see here I have a whole bunch listed inside my system here. To add one, you just go and hit plus, and this looks exactly like the default setting. And you also have a way of putting in a logo. Now, but the receipt, this right here, we also have something special here for the receipts. Sometimes the receipt number needs some type of prefix on the printed receipts or what uploads into their accounting system. You can go ahead and add in a prefix or a suffix into the actual receipt number. That prefix or suffix will not store inside the Cool Running system, but when you create the export files, it will put that on the export file, which sometimes can be pretty helpful if you're co-packing for other companies. Again, you can go ahead and upload the logo. Now, what's nice about these receipts here, and I'll go back this and I'll cancel this out here and look at one of these. You can see here's one right here, and of course there's a logo. Now, when you're going ahead and setting up new customers, once there's been a listing of private labels inside the system, now these are going to be on a drop-down list for when you're setting up customers. So once you're inside a customer list, this is how you can go ahead and set up a private label for a customer. And that would be right here. Under the general information for location, you can see right here, you can choose a private label or decide to not have a private label. If you decide not to, it's going to use the default system receipt information, or you can go ahead and use a different one. Okay, so that is a setup of your receipt information, and once you go ahead and edit that information and do a sync on your handheld, it'll update your handheld and it'll start printing those changes. All right, does anyone have any questions on that? Let me know. Thanks.